There's a specific point in your business that if you apply focus and pressure there, your results will explode quickly and easily. I've spent a lot of time trying to force products to work over the years that nobody wanted. I spent hundreds of hours tweaking and refining marketing campaigns that were doomed to failure because the product just wasn't right. I've also let winning products just sit there and do nothing because I was so focused on promoting other stuff when I could have just promoted those winning products and made money way easier with way less time and effort. So I just got back from our private mastermind for e-commerce entrepreneurs called the Tycoon Tribe here in Austin. It was basically 2.5 days of discussing, strategizing to really help them break through to 8 figures. That was the theme this time because most of them are in the $1 to $5 million a year range. And so the goal is to help them get to $10 million plus as quickly as possible. And many are well on their way. They're growing $1 million a year, 40% a year, that sort of thing. So after selling $300 million online myself and then helping other people sell $10 billion online over the past 11 years, I've seen the same patterns again and again and again that I was seeing at this mastermind in some of their businesses. Because I believe big breakthroughs are really right around the corner if you know where and can find out where to focus. And sometimes it's helpful to get perspective from somebody else because these are all smart people, and I'm sure you are as well. You've tried a lot of things. That's why sometimes it's helpful to get perspective just from somebody else that's not in the weeds. I found this very valuable myself trying to solve my own business problems. So the point is to find the highest leverage area in your business that when you focus your attention there, your results explode. So here's a few ways to find out where this may be in the business that you own now or one that you may own in the future. First off, where's the traffic and sales flowing? If you've got a main product or main landing page or main Amazon listing page, depending on where you sell or what kind of business you run, where is that traffic and sales going, and can you improve that one area of the business? So if you've got, say, 80% of your sales going to one product or one page, doing something with that is probably going to provide bigger results than almost anything else, assuming you haven't been spending the past 3 months only optimizing that product or that page. Because some simple math that if you have, say, a $2 million a year business, if you increase average order value by 10%, conversion rate by 10%, and traffic by 10%, you grow that $2 million a year business by $660,000, just those 10% improvements. And so if you've got a product that's doing really well and you can improve average order value by adding some upsells or order bumps on there, or by adding some variations that maybe people are looking for that could increase conversion rate or average order value, or if you can add some proof, some additional social proof, some credibility elements that improve conversion rate, any of those things applied to where you're already getting maximum traffic are going to have a way bigger result than if you apply those same efforts to your 10th product or a new product or something that doesn't have any traffic or sales flowing to it right now. So focus on where the traffic and sales are flowing. Also, ask yourself if your main product is capped out on growth. Because if your main product, if you're not selling as much of it as you possibly could, selling more of that is probably going to be the easiest way for you to drive more sales. Apple, as big of a company as it is, one of the biggest in the world, still produces the majority of its sales with one product, the iPhone. So us running businesses that are just tiny compared to an Apple, we can probably sell more of our main product before we start worrying about adding additional products. One of our members, for example, he was looking for different ways to expand his brand, different products to go into. And I found out that his Facebook campaign, he was only spending 30, 40 grand a month, but he was reaching just a tiny fraction of his total audience. But he was having somebody internally run his Facebook ads that I think was kind of capped out on experience. And I was like, well, what if you got a really good agency, which I gave him a recommendation. What if you got that agency involved and scaled that 30 to $40,000 a month to $300,000 or $400,000 a month in spend at the same return on ad spend? Your business would explode. You have to do nothing else. You don't have to add any other sales channels. Don't have to optimize anything on Amazon because that was going to Shopify. You don't have to add any new products. You don't really have to add any new employees other than maybe some customer service to handle the additional orders. That is the most efficient way to grow your business. Now, if that's not possible, if for some reason you can't scale that Facebook ad campaign, then at that point you got to look at something else. But in terms of where to put your attention, that is going to be the easiest way. Just give Facebook more money, and as long as you're still getting the same return, your life is super easy and your sales grow like crazy and the value of your business grows like crazy because you're getting so many more customers. Now, on the other hand, if your main product is tapped out on growth, you're the number one in your space, selling more of that product is likely not going to get you there. We had another member who she's the number one in her subcategory for her product. She's going to have a hard time selling more of that thing. It's kind of a niche product. And so instead, she's probably going to get more growth and leverage out of adding a product that has a bigger market. She keeps that one going because that's the cash cow for the whole company. Add a new product that can now expand her total business, because she can optimize that product by 10%, 20% or whatever, but there's not going to be that much growth there because she's already the number one in that subcategory. So instead, start looking for additional products to add. Similarly, but somewhat different, if your main product sucks, like it's not that good of a quality of product, it doesn't really compare well to your competitors, selling more and doing more marketing of that product is not the answer. The answer is to improve the product. If your main product is no good, either because it's either low quality, which is not the problem for anybody in our mastermind, or it's just competitors have caught up, or if they've gotten better than you are, and your product has now fallen behind, which is the case for a few of our members, doing more marketing on that is not the answer. You've got to improve the product so you have something at least as good, but ideally better than your competitors. That's the highest leverage activity. It's not necessarily going to produce more sales tomorrow because it may take a while to improve your product. It may take a few months, but you could spend a lot of time and money and effort doing all this marketing when if you spent that same time, money, and effort improving your product, 6 months down the road, your business is going to be a lot better if you focus on the product instead of marketing an inferior product. On the other hand, like kind of the last item here is that if your inventory, you're running out of inventory, either because of a cash flow issue or because of supplier constraints, more marketing is not really the answer. You can get better at Facebook ads. We have one member who's in this situation. His business is exploding, and his biggest problem now is not how do I do more marketing. He's got plenty of room to grow there. He doesn't even have to add any new marketing channels. He can just literally scale up his Facebook ads. His biggest problem is he's capped out with his supplier, and he's having inventory issues because he's grown so quickly. He's running into cash flow constraints as well. Not a bad problem to have. You're growing so fast that you start having those issues. I'd rather have those issues than I can't produce any sales. But in terms of where to put your attention, figure out how to solve your cash flow issue. Either get equity raised or loans. If you don't have any additional money yourself, you've got to solve that some way, or your business is just going to be slower. I mean, if you knew you could give away, say 10, 20% of your business, but all of a sudden you can increase it by 5x or 10x, that return is probably going to be worth it to you. So solving that issue, or if the supplier is literally capped out, spending the time and effort and doing the pain in the butt work about finding redundant suppliers or replacement suppliers, that's going to be where you're going to get the maximum growth if you're looking 6 to 12 months out, not doing and optimizing more marketing. So kind of in summary here, where to look at in your business now or in the future. First, where do you have untapped and easy growth that you can get into? Selling more of an existing product that's already selling well is so much easier than launching a new product from scratch. So if you can do more of that, please do that. Number 2, where is the biggest bottleneck in your business that if you solve that, makes everything else more productive, such as a supplier issue, cash flow issue, that sort of thing. Kind of final example here, we have a member who sells, a few $1 million a year on Amazon, and he wanted to expand into Shopify, which is a great idea because he's so dependent on Amazon, diversify his sales, fantastic. And he asked me, hey Matt, what would you do if you were me and you wanted to get to $10 million a year? And I kind of asked him these questions. I knew a bit about his business, and I was like, well, you got this Amazon machine figured out. Like, you're in a market that keeps growing. I was like, what would happen if you added more products? I was like, what's your risk? He's like, maybe, $5,000 per product that I try out. And I was like, what's the potential upside in terms of revenue per year? He's like, probably, $200,000 to $300,000 per product. And I was like, this machine. I was like, diversifying on a Shopify, fantastic idea. But don't lose sight of the machine you already know. And if it's so low risk compared to the amount of reward you can get, there's no reason why you don't methodically add more products there as well. So that's his source of what I just said, number 1, which is untapped and easy growth. If he was like, yeah, I've got to spend 50 grand on a new product, it's going to take 6 months, and the maximum I could produce in sales on Amazon is 150 grand a year, maybe that's not really worth it. Look at other opportunities. But if he can spend 5 grand and get an extra $200,000 to $300,000 a year in sales, that is untapped and easy growth to me, while he still focuses on diversifying to Shopify, expanding his business, protecting it, building a customer list, omni-channel brand, all that sort of good stuff. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want more strategies, tips, and tactics to grow your business, make more money, and love being an entrepreneur again, please subscribe to my podcast on your favorite podcasting platform, or subscribe to my YouTube channel to get each daily episode. I'll see you tomorrow.